they've figured out ways to get costs better under control.
I have a theory about that, and I want to test it on you. I get my health care through Chapman University, where I'm on the law faculty, and it's a big university with thousands of employees and thousands of covered people. And they switched my plan a couple of years ago from the Blues to Cigna. And I'm sure they sat down and had a negotiation based upon market share and got a better deal. The government can't do that. Isn't that why large employers just do better than other people, is they just simply negotiate?
That's part of it, but also you had large employers in the last 10 years realizing that healthcare costs are out of control, so they're actually taking steps. For a long time, it just was not really something that they paid attention to in the corporate boardrooms, and in the last 10 years, you've seen a lot more attention and concern about this. So they're experimenting with different types of plans that can control costs. As I say in the report, Medicaid also has shown an ability to control costs, but it just does so by limiting services. That Oregon study that you've talked about, Hugh, says that people on Medicaid are worse off.
Yep.
So you've got to find a way to control costs, but also provide decent service.
What I also like about this study is you quote Dr. Ezekiel Emanuel, the former OMB official, of course, the brother of the former White House Chief of Staff, now Mayor of Chicago, and his prediction that employer-sponsored health care is simply going to go away. Do you see that? Do you agree with him in that regard?
I don't agree with the starkness of his prediction that all 170 million people who are in employer-sponsored care are not going to be covered by employers in 10 years. But I do talk to employers in this role at the American Health Policy Institute, and they are all rethinking what they are doing. So the 170 million people who are now in employer-sponsored care are going to see something different over the next 10 years. Some of them will lose coverage overall as their employers say, I don't want to deal with this anymore. But everyone else will see something different than they are seeing now.
And that, to the extent that he is right, and you say he is partially right at least, they are going to transition to programs which are by definition, according to this study, more expensive. So our healthcare costs are bound to spiral, despite the ACA's promises. I think that's where the bottom line is if we put all the predictions in one pot, we end up with a pretty bitter cup of coffee to drink.
Yeah, well, that's part of it. I mean, not everyone is going to go into non-employer-sponsored plans. Some will go into employer-sponsored plans that are just different. So those people are different than those who are going to go into government. But the ones who do go into government plans will, by and large, go into plans where the cost per covered life is higher, and we will indeed have that bitter cup of coffee.
Is there any way to reverse this? And this takes me to the last question. We had about a minute and a half. Republicans need to come up with something. They have to put something on the table before November. What ought they to be saying to voters can be done about this problem?
Yeah, I've seen some plans by different Republicans that suggest that you have some kind of equalization of tax treatment so that employers have been providing care because there's a tax benefit to them to provide health